That's something where the government could do a lot to try and look at what things work in preventing gun violence in children and saving those lives, and what things don't work. But eliminating that opportunity will cost lives. The National Institute on Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, that's part of CDC that is focused on ensuring that workers across America are safe and that workplace injuries are.
We'll take you live now here on C-SPAN to the U.S. House. Coming in for a brief session. No votes are planned.
The House will be in order. The chair lays before the House a communication from the Speaker.
The Speaker's Rooms, Washington, D.C., May 29, 2025. I hereby appoint the Honorable Adrian Smith to act as Speaker pro tempore on this day. Signed, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The prayer will be offered by Chaplain Kibben.
Are permanent professors appointed by Congress, military faculty, and civilian faculty. Military faculty bring Air Force and Space Force experience to the classroom and have earned a master's degree or doctorate. Civilian faculty wear their traditional academic regalia, prescribed by the degrees they hold. Each element identifies the highest degree earned, master's or doctorate, as well as the degree-granting institution and field of study. Additionally, squadron commanders, academy military trainers, and representatives of the cadet wing major units are in the processional. Squadron commanders lead the 40 squadrons that make up the cadet wing. These commanders are selected through a highly competitive process. They are comprised of pilots, navigators, combat systems operators, weapons systems operators, engineers, intelligence officers, logistics officers, cyber officers, maintainers, special agents, and many other career fields across the Department of the Air Force and Space Force. Also includes representatives of the Directorate of Athletics, which is comprised of coaches and staff who train intercollegiate, intramural, and club teams, as well as teach a robust variety of physical education courses. We are proud of our outstanding faculty, coaches, squadron commanders, representatives of whom appear on the stadium floor today to honor the class of 2025. Please join us in recognizing them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chief of Space Operations, General B. Chance Saltzman, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General David W. Ulvin, and the Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy, Lieutenant General Tony D. Bauernfeind. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Troy E. Mink. Wing, present, arms. Wing, order, arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the graduating class of 2025. left, haste, wing, present, arms. Please remain standing and direct your attention to the north end of the stadium for the playing of the national anthem, followed by the invocation. Order, arms, at ease. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Colonel Ruth N. Segrist, United States Air Force Academy Command Chaplain.
Thank you for pausing as I offer a poetic prayer. Lord, thank you for the graduating class of 2025 and the things that they have learned. Thank you for the academics and practical tools that are in their hands. Thank you for their instructors, commanders, family, and classmates too, who supported them through USAFA, helping them become blue. Thank you for their tenacity. They are war fighters who are postured to win the next conflict and war from without and within. Thank you that they are leaders of character and quality, and critical thinkers who will adapt to their environment, ensuring that the mission will not collapse. God, as they leave these hallowed grounds, may they reflect on academics and fun. Bless them, our nation's newest leaders, because tomorrow is day one. Now, class of 2025, give your nation your best. God be with you, and may you never quit, never settle, and be blessed. Amen.
Graduates, take seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Tony D. Bauernfeind, the Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy.
Good morning and welcome as we celebrate the United States Air Force Academy Class of 2025. Today, we are honored to welcome our newly appointed 27th Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Troy Mink. Sir, thank you for joining us today, and welcome to your United States Air Force Academy. We are also honored to welcome the 23rd Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General David Alvin, and his spouse Gina, the 2nd Chief of Space Operations for our Space Force, General Chance Saltzman and his spouse Jennifer, the Mayor of Colorado Springs, Mr. Yemi Mobiladi and his wife Abby, and as well to the members of the long blue line of Academy graduates, our local leaders, and community partners. Thank you all for supporting our mission here in Colorado, whether it be in our local community or all the way back in Washington, D.C. Please, a round of applause to our guests. To the class of 2025, congratulations. After 4 years of challenging military training, academics, and athletics, your day one has arrived. On your I-Day, on 24 June 2021, you entered the Academy full of smiles for the first hour. Having arrived towards the end of the global pandemic, you received your official command voice welcome on the footprints wearing masks. Many of you have come a long way from arriving in flip-flops, showing up without paperwork, or packing like you were going on a European vacation. But today, you are our warrior leaders ready to lead in our Air Force and our Space Force. But please, as you sit here, reflect upon all the incredible support that you have received. Take a moment to thank your families, your friends, your sponsor families, and your support networks, because they've been there throughout your lives and especially here at USAFA. Take time to recognize the leaders you've become through the help of the Cadet Wing, your squadron commanders, and your Academy military trainers. Take time to recognize the knowledge that you have gained in the classroom because of our incredible faculty. As warrior scholars, you are now equipped to confront the complex challenges our nation faces today. And lastly, through your athletic competitions, thank your coaches, your trainers, and your instructors who prepared you physically and mentally to be resilient as you learn valuable lessons about character, perseverance, and leadership. To all of those that made you successful, another round of applause, please. Through these 4 years, there has been one glaring constant, and that constant has been change. Who you were in the June of 2021 is not who you are today. During these past 4 years, you have triumphed, you have failed, and you have fought to take your rightful place in the long blue line. How you manage change as leaders will define your future. And this year, I watched each and every one of you rise to the occasion, adapt to change, gain resilience, and achieve the warfighting readiness to lead our airmen and guardians that are waiting on you. In a year of transformation, you led our efforts and established our pathway to success. You established our foundation to forge warfighters to win, to inspire leaders of character and quality, and to motivate critical thinkers to adapt. As warfighters to win, you accepted the challenge and embraced the warrior ethos our nation demands, with a focus on readiness in all forms, physical, mental, and spiritual. You are offensively minded, mission-focused, and you built your teams who overcame challenges and adversity. Your military training, your academics, and your athletics prepared you for this. You became the example for the Cadet Wing as we established foundational warfighter skills and executed 2 entire Cadet Wing in the field military exercises. In our first year of culminating exercises, We set the bar high, and you leapt over it. Keep going strong. This is just the beginning, and you need to keep the momentum as you lead in our rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. Now, as warrior scholars, you integrated rigorous academics, immersive training, and cutting-edge research to prepare you for combat leadership. Your education was deliberately designed to ensure you are the warfighters who can outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight our adversaries. From putting satellites in space to winning numerous national competitions and providing research to support our operational Air Force and Space Force, you excelled and you advanced our strategic advantage. And as athletes over the past 4 years, you were warriors through every competition, which led us to 3 individual national championships, 37 All-Americans, and 16 top 25 team finishes in the nation. And lastly, against our sister military service academies in all sports, you dominated with an overall record of 66, 27, and 1, reminding West Point and Annapolis that the Air Force Academy remains far, far above. As leaders of character and quality, you chose Colonel William Psycho Andrews as your class exemplar. For those of you unfamiliar, each class at our academy selects an exemplar whose qualities they hope to emulate. Every time someone says the class year, they shout the name of their exemplar. Colonel Andrews was a USAFA class of 1980 graduate, and he was one of the most decorated airmen of Desert Storm, receiving the Air Force Cross for heroism after he was shot down and captured as a prisoner of war. After capture, he saw enemy surface-to-air missiles fly by and his wingmen flying overhead, attempting to execute the rescue. In a moment of rebellion, he reached for his survival radio and redirected his wingmen, keeping them safe from enemy fire. During questioning, Colonel Andrews refused to provide information, even as Iraqi intelligence enticed him with better treatment and a promise that no one would ever know. But Colonel Andrews did not falter. He relied on his core values, he stayed true to his character, and he remained silent. After his release, Colonel Andrews continued to serve with honor until his retirement in 2010. While we lost Colonel Andrews in 2015, his legacy remains strong with the class of 2025. Like your exemplar, who embodied our core values and commitment to servant leadership, you made hard calls, and you have faced adversity knowing that leaders do the right thing, the right way, even if it's unpopular. As servant leaders, our airmen and guardians deserve this. Our missions require this, and our nation demands this. While here, you also experienced tragic loss of teammates. During those difficult times, you came together. You stood by one another, and you offered compassion and support through the unimaginable. This and so many other examples of your time at USAFA have made you leaders of character and quality. And finally, as critical thinkers to adapt, you learned to develop innovative solutions to complex problems while operating with limited information. You prepared for modern and future warfare in the air, space, and cyber domains, ensuring we maintain our strategic advantage for the joint force. You challenged the status quo. You built teams to tackle problems from multiple perspectives to ensure your success. And through your warfighter training, your academics, and your athletics, you learn to analyze and adapt to emerging threats. Our future demands your continued critical thought. Class of 2025, your day one has arrived, and I am exceptionally proud of your hard work and your perseverance. But there are challenges ahead, and you must be prepared. There is no easy path. Nothing worthwhile comes without hard work, teamwork, courage, and sacrifice. And I will leave you with these last thoughts. Our weapons school mantra comes to mind. Be humble. Be approachable. Be credible. Be humble. You have proven you have incredible talents, and as leaders, remember that you are entering a force that has decades of experience. Take the time to listen and learn from your team's years of experience. Be approachable, build teams, and continue to lift them up where every team member is seen, heard, and valued. When you execute this successfully, your team will outperform not only your mission, but your expectations. And be credible. Be the master of your craft. Be the go-to expert wherever you go, and be ready when the nation calls. Be credible for yourself, be credible for your team, and be credible for our adversaries. They are watching. Your job is to ensure that they never challenge our nation by displaying your incredible strength. And right now, there are 325,000 airmen and guardians who need your leadership. And I can attest that you are ready. You are the leaders our nation deserves. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Fights on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome the 27th Secretary of our Air Force, the Honorable Troy Mink.
Good morning, class of 2025. I was actually fortunate enough to meet Psycho when I was a senior lieutenant, young captain. It was right after the Gulf War, and he's going around talking and briefing various units on his experience. He made a fantastic selection. He was a great officer. Again, love the enthusiasm. Great to be here. 2 hours, maybe, in a Thunderbird Pass. We'll see what the weather looks like going forward, but I'm hopeful. I got my fingers crossed. I want to start out a little bit non-standard. I'm going to reference a number of cadets as I walk through here, but I did want to give a shout out to a third class cadet that I know very, very well, Cadet Gabriel Ralston. I coached Gabriel and his two brothers for about 5 or 6 years in competitive robotics. It quickly became apparent to me that he was the sharpest of the three brothers, even though he was the youngest. The other two had to settle for the Naval Academy. So 2 weeks into the job, and I expect I'll have to be apologizing to a couple of Navy leaders when I get back to D.C. On Friday. But just kidding, we love our sister services. So General Alvin and Mrs. Alvin, General Saltzman and Mrs. Saltzman, and General Bonfine, thank you, and Mrs. Bonfine, thank you for the introduction, and thank you for all the distinguished guests and everybody who has made this day possible for the cadets. Obviously it's a day that the cadets are going to remember for their entire lives. I'd also take a little bit of time to thank the support infrastructure for all the class of 2025. To all the friends, family, mentors, sponsors, who rightly have made significant sacrifices to help the cadets get into the academy, get through the academy, help them with all the decisions they've made throughout their time here, where they're going to go, what field they want to lead into. It's great. People would never get through these sorts of hard courses without that support, and I want to thank you all for that. Unfortunately, it's not going to change. That support infrastructure is going to be required going forward. Although I was active duty officer for 5 years, I was a spouse for over 20 years. My wife is a retired Air Force officer, and although we loved our experience, pretty much all of it, but we love pretty much all of our experience, things are not going to get easier. Although there's a lot of work here at the Academy, getting through the Academy, you should be extremely proud of that. The pressure, the pace is going to continue to improve or continue to increase as you train, deploy, and fight in the operational Air Force. And that support infrastructure is going to be just as important today as it is going forward as it is today. So thank you very much for everybody and all their support. So, to classes 2026. A little slow on their response. 2027. 2028. Well, there you go. Remember that they had more warning than the 2026 class. Remember that everything you do in your remaining time as a cadet is pointing you to this graduation day, the time when you will make your own impact on the mission. Good luck, and I look forward to being here when you graduate over the next coming years. Now, back to class of 2025. They're winning so far. Today is the culmination of 4 years of hard work. Your journey started with a clap of thunder on 24th on June 2021. I'm not hearing any thunder, but we're getting a little bit of rain, I think, like you got. In the middle of processing in the storm, standing under the footsteps of Vandenberg Tower. You kept going despite all the adversities we could think to throw at you. We gave you a motto: never quit, never settle. And you haven't quit, and you haven't settled. That persistence got you to this point through all the challenges you faced. You've overcome athletic rigors. As the superintendent pointed out, the 2-1 win ratio over the other services, I'm sure you're appreciating it now, but you will continue to appreciate that throughout your career. That is a battle that never ends. That is a discussion that never ends. After 25, 30 years, you'll still be talking about that. Gymnast Patrick Hoops won back-to-back national championships in the pommel horse. Scott Rocket won Division I title with an air rifle. That's got to be one of the best names I've ever heard, Rocket. Many of you competed in intramural sports throughout the wild weather Colorado could throw at you. You also overcame academic trials. You not only passed Chemistry 100 and Astro 310, but some of you went far beyond. You secured patents for autonomous robotic systems, you tested hypersonic vehicles, and you launched payloads to the International Space Station. I think the superintendent told me this morning that over the last 6 years there was 36 patents awarded to the Academy cadets. That's just unbelievable. And some of you are continuing on to graduate school, including Margaret Mayhem, who won and was awarded the Marshall Scholarship. Others are headed off to programs at MIT and other institutions. Like a young lieutenant that I knew, 1998 graduate of the Academy, Colonel and now astronaut Nick Hague, who worked for me about 25 years ago as a brand new cadet graduate out of MIT. Some of you may know him. He is the U.S. astronaut that managed to survive a Russian rocket blowing up underneath of him. And then a couple years later, just last year, was commanded the launch, the mission that went up and rescued the 2 astronauts that were stranded on the International Space Station. So a long pedigree out of the Academy for sure. You overcame military challenges, your 4-degree year, and recognition. You stepped into leadership roles and made this place your own. Sometimes you even went a little too far and had to march a few tours. Something about Ziggy. I wanted to ask, but I was told I don't want to ask and I don't want to see. You overcame combat survival training in Pinyon Canyon. Now, I have to admit that when I went through survival training, that was not the most enjoyable time in my early career, but it teaches you a lot. The important thing to remember is that there is nothing your class couldn't overcome. and class of 2025. It's exactly that tenacity we need. We need you. We need you because the Air Force and Space Force that you are about to join are not the same services that I, your instructors, AOCs, and coaches joined. You are joining a Department of the Air Force in transition. For the past 25 years, we've been focused. All right, I get it. Took me a second. That was not on purpose on my part. For the past 25 years, we've been focused on low-intensity conflict in the Middle East, but no longer. This administration has made its national security focus crystal clear. Number one, defend the homeland. Number two, deter China in the Indo-Pacific. Class of 2025. That one was on purpose. The Indo-Pacific will be your generation's fight, and you will deliver the most lethal force that this nation has ever existed, or we will not succeed. The character of war is changing, today more rapidly than ever before. You can clearly see, not only in the Ukraine skies, but in the skies over Israel and the Red Sea. 30 years ago, when I was a second lieutenant, only a handful of nations could precisely strike targets hundreds of miles away. Today, even a group of Yemen rebels can employ anti-ballistic missiles at range. To meet this new reality, we must rebuild our military, and we are now in the midst of the largest modernization in our history. We are developing and procuring new systems in nearly every mission area in both the Air Force and the Space Force. And in some cases, we are creating new missions that weren't even thought about 5 or 4 years ago when you entered the academy. We are treating space like the contested environment it is. We are building the most lethal airborne platforms in history. We are building low-cost drones, and we are building sensors and battle networks to stitch it all together. We are also training in this environment. Next month, we will have the largest exercise since the Cold War, and that exercise will be in the Indo-Pacific. Why are we going to do that? We focus on the Indo-Pacific because it is a threat unlike anything we have ever faced. This is not late-stage Cold War where we had a decisive advantage over the Soviets. That's what I came into. This is not the unipolar moment in the 1990s when the America stood unchallenged. This is not the global war on terror in the 2000 and 2010s where we enjoyed freedom of the skies. Today's competition with China is wide-ranging and it is unpredictable. There will be no sanctuaries, and many of our assumptions about air and space power will change. If we continue to operate as we have in the past, we will fail in the future. And we cannot afford to fail. We must be ready at all times. Every minute of every day, airmen stand watch in missile launch control centers. Guardians stand watch on satellite control centers. Pilots stand watch in alert facilities. We stand watch because the defense of the homeland is a no-fail mission. It is Air Force F-22s that still intercept Russian bombers in the North Arctic, a mission that we've been doing for decades. It is the Space Force's sensors that detect incoming missiles or other threats in space. And this mission is only getting more important. That is why we are at the forefront of designing and building the President's Golden Dome for America initiative, with a Guardian, General Gutlein, in the lead. And if our nation should call, we are ready at a moment's notice to deploy, to fight, and to win anytime, anywhere, with the most advanced systems on the planet. We have a long legacy of being the first to fight. America's offensive response to the bombings at Pearl Harbor was the Doolittle Raid, 30 seconds over Tokyo. It's actually the first book I remember reading. American bombers were our first force to respond to North Korea invasion in the South in the 1950s. In Afghanistan, air power was on hand from day one, supporting special operations in their march to Kabul. No matter what the conflict of the future looks like, air power, and space power will be at its leading edge, and you must be ready for it at all times. Class of 2025. You may not see it now, but there is a reason why we put you through the paces these last 4 years. There is a reason why the Academy is as hard as you have seen it to be. As you look back at your time here, you will see how well it prepared you for what it will take in the future. How well it has forged you into leaders of character that we need our Air Force and Space Force. Everything you have been through these past 4 years has been for this purpose. There is a reason why you receive bachelor's degrees of science, because the systems we are acquiring and operating are some of the most advanced and sophisticated systems in the world. The cornerstone of our force lethality will be your skill set and knowledge. I understand about half of you are going on to be rated careers. Your ability to effectively employ the systems we have today and the new systems we are delivering will be the decisive advantage we have over our adversaries. I also understand that just over 100 of you will be joining the Space Force. Our youngest service is also one of the most technical. Space actually is hard. To succeed, we need smart, tenacious leaders across the force. And I believe space will be one of the asymmetric advantages the U.S. has over our adversaries. Others will become missileers, maintainers, logisticians, cyber defenders, engineers, acquirers, analysts. All those are needed to make this great machine of an Air Force operate. No matter your job, we will find what you've learned here critical. Data is now ubiquitous. Robotic systems are increasingly capable. AI is more than just a buzzword. Our services were born of technology, and I commit to you that we will put what you've learned here to use. There are no shortages of problems for you to solve. I've spent quite a bit of time in the Pentagon, maybe more time than I would have liked in the Pentagon. It is a place where critical decisions are made, but the Pentagon doesn't fight wars. Young officers, lieutenants, captains fight wars. Lieutenants like you, in about 2 hours, have the drive, the skill, the fearlessness to try new things. Lieutenants can innovate. Lieutenants need to innovate. They can solve problems, and they can win tomorrow's war. Lieutenants like Chris Pritchard, who deployed to the Middle East last year shortly after arriving at his first operational squadron. On his first combat mission, he dropped 4 GPS-guided bombs as part of a complex strike package. Later in the same deployment, he shot down a Houthi drone over the Red Sea. Despite the dynamic circumstances, he executed exactly as he and thousands of other young aviators had been trained to do, to accomplish the mission. Captains like Jonathan Novak, who was a key engineer on a multi-billion-dollar orbital program. He has not only wrote an award-winning thesis while getting his master's at MIT, but then directly applied that knowledge into building the coursework for orbital warfare and engineers to follow. Lieutenants like Mara Cage, who commanded flight and manages the global supply of hundreds of different spare parts for our B-52 fleet. Readiness is a challenge. People like that are critical to make sure that our forces have what they need to fight. Captains like Nick Forrest, who was asked to serve at the National Reconnaissance, where I most recently worked a couple weeks ago. He is one of the dozens of young officers that we have deployed around the world to bring data science to the fight. He is currently embedded in the White House Situation Room, building models and bringing intelligence products to the most senior leadership in our government. In fact, throughout its history, some of the Air Force's proudest achievements have been accomplished by lieutenants, young people who make their dreams into reality, despite the challenges. John Boyd, legendary fighter pilot and father of the F-16, formulated most of his ideas about advanced fighter combat tactics while in Korea as a lieutenant. Ira Bong, America's ace, who eventually scored 40 aerial victories during World War II, first became an ace as a lieutenant. In fact, Hap Arnold, the father of the Air Force, was a second lieutenant when he talked his way in to the Wright Brothers Aeronautical Training Course, undeterred by advice that he should not join the aviation duty community only because if he wished to commit suicide. He became the U.S.'s military's first pilot and laid the groundwork for everything you see here today. Innovation and initiative is in our DNA. The young people like yourselves are the sources of many of our proudest achievements. Congratulations, class of 2025. Welcome to the Air Force and the Space Force. We are counting on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cadet Class President for 2025. Cadet First Class Caleb Kavanaugh. The Summer Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class D. Micah Stark. The Fall Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class Grace Beal. And the Spring Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class Joseph Cheddar, will present the class gifts to the Secretary of the Air Force.
Secretary Mink, for your dedicated service to our nation, United States Air Force, United States Space Force, and United States Air Force Academy. It is with great pride that today's graduating class designates you by acclamation an honorary member of the United States Air Force Academy's class of 2025. As tangible evidence of that honor, we ask that you accept this painting by Justin Hayward on behalf of the United States Air Force Academy. We also present you with our class coin as a token of our appreciation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Linnell Latundra, the Dean of the Faculty.
Before presenting the entire graduating class to you, Secretary Mink, I would like to highlight a few individuals for special recognition. First, I call your attention to the 94 distinguished graduates who are listed on the top of your program. These cadets, by their overall performance, have placed in the top 10% of their class and have demonstrated excellence in accomplishing the academic, military, and athletic requirements for graduation. If we observed the custom of academic honors, each would be graduating either summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or cum laude. Instead, we use the term distinguished graduate, more fitting of its promise of distinguished service to our nation. At this time, will the distinguished graduates from the Colonel William Francis Psycho Andrews class please rise and be recognized? Thank you. Please be seated. Those identified in your program with an S beside their name are cadets graduating with the Academic Scholar distinction, having completed a challenging academic enrichment path through the 4-year core curriculum as part of the Martinson Honors Program. We would also like to recognize those cadets who have placed in the top 10% of our academic, military, and athletic programs. Identified in your program with a star by their names are cadets graduating with academic distinction. Those identified with a wreath beside their names are cadets graduating with military distinction. And those identified in the program with a lightning bolt beside their names are cadets graduating with athletic distinction. Those exceptional 11 cadets graduating with all 3 distinctions are identified with a star in a wreath resting on 2 lightning bolts. Please stand as I call your name. Annika Rose Havlick. Ryan James Buckton. Renata Janelle Russell. Max Walker Lasco. Will Raymond French. Evan Coulter Hoke. Joseph Rodney Lynch. Abby Grace Hulasikun. Allison Marie Henderson. Kaylin Alejandro. And Ryan Philip Tremaine. Congratulations, you may be seated. In conclusion, a total of 909 Air Force Academy cadets in this year's class have completed all graduation requirements. And Dr. Mink, you'll be proud that 153 of these warfighter scholars will proceed directly to graduate school as their first assignment. We are also pleased to have in the class of 2025 14 international students from Guyana, Indonesia, Kosovo, Malaysia, Niger, Panama, Peru, Philippines, Romania, Senegal, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, and Tunisia. Will all of our international students please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Please be seated. Warfighter scholars, it has been my absolute honor and privilege to have been your Dean of Faculty, and now it gives me great pleasure to present to you, Secretary Mink, the United States Air Force Academy, Colonel William Francis Psycho Andrews, class of 2025. And recommend you each as worthy of the Bachelor of Science degree.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Candace L. Pipes, Director of Admissions, and Dr. Hal A. Taylor, Jr., Associate Dean for Student Academic Affairs and Academy Registrar, will now present the diplomas to the graduating class of 2025.
Will the distinguished graduates please rise and come forward to receive your diplomas? Ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Troy E. Mink, joins us on stage to congratulate the graduates of the class of 2025.
The class of 2025's #1 cadet in overall performance, Annika Rose Havlick.
Ryan James Buckton.
Renata Janelle Russell.
Max Walker Lasco.
The class of 2025's #1 cadet in military performance, Andrew Frank Amadeo Espinoza, Jr.
Dante Benjamin Cometto.
Madison Ruth Campbell.
Mark Wendell Carnes, Jr.
Quentin Carl Keyes.
Will Raymond French.
Joseph Patrick Oskowitz.
Evan Colton Hope.
Joseph Rodney Lynch.
The class of 2025's #1 cadet in academic performance, Giovanni Dante Galeotto.
June Hyung Park.
David Micah Stark.
Reginaldo Remigio D. Capati.
Abby Grace Halasi Kuhn.
Allison Marie Henderson.
Samantha Kelly Wellstead.
John Robert Arney.
Ethan Michael Strout.
Weiss Michael O'Connor.
Kaylin Alejandro.
Adrian Marie Weaver.
Erin Ashley Bruzak.
Luca Antonio Valenti.
Autumn Evelyn Thill.
Madeline Valentine Olson.
Margaret O'Connor Meehan.
Joseph Robert Shetter.
Grace Cameron Hendricks.
Taylor Ann McManus.
Chloe Amanda Bankhead.
Riley John Anderson.
Alyssa Nicole Hargis.
Denver Allen Dalpius.
Guy Wayne Blessing.
Hannah Lily Clue.
Thomas Michael Blaylock.
Riley Elizabeth McGarry.
Melina Mary Thompson.
Isaac Wilder Musselman.
Nathan Robert John Nelson.
Reese Samuel Wexler.
Garrett Stanley Hake.
Ryan Philip Tremaine.
Mark Andrew Romano.
Carmen Wiley Grubbs.
Madison Cerisa Nieves.
Caleb Leland Shea.
Sai Sunjo Huang.
Jacob Michael Lawrence.
Charles Theodore Lopez.
Cameron Walker Solomon.
Moira Kathleen Krogan.
Nathaniel Raymond Pimentel.
Haley Nicole Boron.
Graham Henry Green.
Hayden Connor McDonald.
Gabrielle Rivers Burnett.
Daniel Yong Sung Cho.
Brock Zane Miller.
Nika Fedorova.
Rushan Muhajin.
Anthony Richard Standish.
Zachary Edmund DeRocher.
Emily Ruth Cook.
David Ryan Johnson.
Zachary David Adama.
Jaden Jency Weiser.
Ashley Lynn.
Jillian Marie Howe.
Mick Howard Kozlowski.
Jack William Arnold.
Blake Matthew Morgan.
Nicholas Scott Cicilla.
Joseph Ryan Olson.
Timothy Amos Brahan.
Victor Ruhao Chin.
Maxwell Louis Hanneman. Jimmy Nguyen.
Elliot Owen Metz.
Grace Elizabeth Beal.
Julia Dare Arndt.
Kieran Kai Moyes.
Dylan Tyler Payne.
Simon Burl Gott.
Lone Douglas O'Neill.
Caleb Jonathan Pym.
Jack Thomas Faulkner.
Weiss Song Yuan.
Colby Odyssey DeLeo. Will the remainder of the graduates of 2025 please come forward by squadron to receive your diplomas? Ladies and gentlemen, joining the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Troy Mink, on stage. To your left, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General David W. Alvin. To your right, the Chief of Space Operations, General B. Chance Saltzman.
Cadet Squadron 1, Riley Mike Akos.
Alexander Avila.
Jacob Thomas Brady.
Ella Lucille Duncan.
Alexis Alberta Huntemer.
Cullen Michael Ingersoll.
Minjae Kim.
Isaiah Benjamin Land.
Samuel Carrick McCabe.
Cameron Olivia Osborne.
Enrique Arcady Oti.
John Jacob Schaefer. Brian Philip Simpson.
Parker Ty St. John.
Jared Raymond Stibe.
Nolan James Turner.
Enderon Buthai.
Cadet Squadron 2, Riley Scarlett Arns.
Bridge Torsten Bach.
Bo David Becker.
Byron Greer Brown.
Benjamin Peter Charlebois.
Amy Choi.
Samuel Cook.
Nicholas Theodore DeDomenico.
Sidney Michael Zwankowski.
Ryan Tolan Fitzgerald.
Patrick Walker Hoops.
Catherine Ethoxia Judy.
Matthew Austin Lee.
Timothy Jack Lewis.
Nathan Alexander Lissy.
Jacoby Eric McGowan.
Thomas Patrick O'Brien.
Naomi Grace Polakowski.
Madison Ann Peterson.
John Anthony Plute.
Maximus Michael Raccanelli.
Anna Grace Torres.
Hudson Roy Tyner.
Cadet Squadron 3, Josiah Warren Beggs.
Logan Alexander Carlisle.
Nicholas Kawilani McElroy Carson.
Shane Robert Cox.
Taylor Marie Ellis.
Mitchell Christian Francoeur.
Taylor Nicole Harkley.
Emmanuel Jim Lorenzo.
Nicholas Stephen McConnell.
Justin Renee Morales.
Carla Sofia Ortiz Cerezo.
Owen Guerin Peterson.
Aiden Matthew Shimmick.
Ethan Emmanuel Taylor.
James Harris Tormey.
Olivia Jeanette Weiss.
Katie Lee Wofford.
William Whaley Zadrowski.
Cadet Squadron 4, Emanuela Evelohi Benson.
Ty William Black.
Samuel James Cochran.
Ryan Allen Collier.
Aldo Dector.
Erin Elizabeth Firth.
Garrett Dean Gallagher.
J. Engel Cartuck.
Hunter James Key.
Kayla Yesul Kim.
Kayla Ray McBride.
Matthew Robert Klaczynski.
Jason Patrick Kleinhands.
Ethan Bernard Lefebvre.
Regan Patrick Lockney.
Shannon Matthew Mahan.
Thomas Ryan McAdams.
Siddhant Sachin Pate.
Joseph Alexander Phillips.
Paul Anthony Porter.
Haley Gabrielle Ramos.
Julia Rose Razano.
Dylan Cole Rogers.
Cadet Squadron 5, Ella Rain Bowman.
Michael William Brown, Jr.
William Conrad Costa Glenn.
Matthew Henry DePore.
Sean James DeRozier.
Michaela Cheyenne Freeman.
Olivia Ann Garcia.
Blake Thomas Januzzi.
Blake Austin Kilgore.
Luke Oliver Kohout.
Owen Merrick Konopaki.
Catherine Annalena Kutzik.
Mackenzie Richard Miller.
Zachary Paul Mobius.
Yash Pragnesh Patel.
Stacy Leander Rose III.
Maeve Lawton Roscoe.
Haley Brianne Routson.
Jack Lewis Scavo.
Cadet Squadron 6. Diana Karsten Bukovac.
John Kiani Cho.
Lucas Robert Kuhn.
Stanley Allen Finlayson.
Kyle Wayne Garner.
Michael James Gilmore II.
Peyton Olivia Glenn.
David Louis Gomez.
Nicole Alexis Hedges.
Ella J. Lavachi.
Jasper Joseph Lester.
Riley Christian Marsh.
Kelsey Jean Monahan Bergson.
Avnish Prashant Renbotker.
Catherine Diane Schlather.
Zechariah David Shutt.
Jinju Kim Thompson.
Alec Jennings Troy.
Aiden Rush Turney.
Matthew Allen Westbrook.
Alex Keith White.
Cadet Squadron 7. Alexander James Bean.
Kenneth Christopher Beard.
Aiden Luke Beasley.
Connor Thomas Brzezinski.
Nathaniel Allen Simrel.
Chloe Josephine David.
Connor Moonway Emmons.
Sophia Marguerite Hay.
Daniel Charles Hames.
Cameron Canute Lee.
Michael Olcott Lovell.
Mackenzie Sophia Marty.
Gwyneth Grace Martin.
Sydney Ruth Mazzilli.
Rory Cade Moe.
Alex Gould Moore.
Alexis Jordan Odom.
Leighton Bryce Powell.
Irissa Michelle Reyes.
Isabella Elena Shout.
Mason Keon Slaughter.
Caleb Youngjong Song.
Matthew Joey Steinmetz.
William Reese Swanson.
Cadet Squadron 8. Ethan J. Andrews.
Sage Kalani Brady.
Rebecca Gray Collins.
Clayton Dan Cosentino.
Aiden Thomas Doherty.
Jerome Alberic Gaylord, Jr.
Rocco Charles Graziano.
Kyle Jeffrey Griffith.
Michelle Hannah Harvey.
Joseph Toru Kenyon.
Kara Rose McCormick.
Brianna May McVeigh.
Jennifer Lauren Moreno.
Ty Edward Reasoner.
Madison Rose Smith.
Tobias Antoine Temple.
The class of 2025's #1 cadet in athletic performance, Brandon Chen Tilp.
Tristan Nicholas Trax.
Adam Vale.
Carly Jane Walters.
Naja Kayla Wilson.
Cadet Squadron 9. Chase Alexander Beasley.
Margaret Grace Courtney.
Madeline Elizabeth Dibble.
Derek Alexander Hackett.
Brianna Catherine Hayes.
Trinity Amber Hine.
John Paul Houle.
Andrew Isaac Jankowski.
Jonas Robert Johnson.
Ashlyn Ray Myers.
Charles Edward Miles.
Renee Aiden Moreno.
Anders Peter Bowvey Olson.
Aaron Glenn Ponce.
Silas Aaron Riley.
Catherine Grace Ruffin.
Joseph Nathaniel Sheely.
Kylie Lane Swartz.
Ashton Christopher Ballantyne.
Ashley Nicole Van Cleve.
Charles Anthony Whitcomb.
Alex James Woodward.
Cadet Squadron 10. Diego Alejandro Aguilar.
Kurt Thomas Bliss.
Ryan Thomas Corner.
McGuire Carlson Craddock.
Paige Marie Davis.
Helena Louise Dureski.
Ryder Jackson Fitch.
Ben Barack Foster.
Kathleen Taylor Horton.
Leandre Russell Ingram.
David Dawong Key.
David Michael Kenny.
Calvin Dennis Neiman.
Primo Palaquico Reyes.
Cameron Colby Richards.
Matthew Isaac Sharkey.
Tiari Sky Towler.
Vivian Mentron Trong.
Jade Alejandra Voigt.
Elizabeth Lane Warner.
Eric Lawrence Wills.
Nathan Russell Worth. I'm saying 2 names.
Fully hydrated. Ladies and gentlemen, joining the Chief of Staff of the Air Force on stage, to your left, the Superintendent, Lieutenant General Tony Bauernfeind, and the Director of Athletics, Nathan Pine. To your right, the Vice Superintendent, Major General Thomas Sherman, and the Executive Director of Athletics, Ms. Jennifer Block. Cadet Squadron 11, Ruth Tenboom Anand.
Lincoln Edward Bluen.
Gabriela Isabel Castaneda.
Amelia Marguerite Cass.
Jack Thomas Engelke.
Thomas Bernard Ekstrom.
Gabriel Edward Hawthorne.
Iyad Fatala.
Michaela Lynn Engel.
Matthew Jacob Heitman.
Benjamin James Keegstra.
Alexa Marie Cabot.
Caleb Patrick Lehow.
Sean June Kim.
Anna Gabriela Michelle Gutierrez.
Walbert Joel Lopez Acosta.
Daisy Eleonora Partridge.
Roland Justin Ocampo.
Leo Alexander Stearns Rentas.
Mandau Gay Sek.
Seda Ruslan Sarni.
James Marcus Tomasi.
Cadet Squadron 12. Kelsey Elizabeth Barretts Shoemate.
Elise Nicole Wages.
Fernando Brito Jr.
Simon Andrew Bidney.
Felicia Suzanne Early.
Aiden Christopher Culver.
Basin Imsamai.
Ethan Paul Howell.
Andrew Barrett McCann.
Lillian Beatrice Jungles.
Luke Michael Myers.
Carlos Latrell Miller.
Robert Russell Posto.
Lauren Elise Pettit.
Eugen Shim.
Kyla Nicole Reisenhuber.
Cadet Squadron 13. Valandra Corino Broshai.
Grant Arlen Yule.
Dylan Cinta.
Liam Thomas Champagne.
Josiah Kent Hager.
Daniel Mitchell Enoch.
Riley Christian Horton.
Hannah Marie Hill.
Matthew Stephen Kinnerson.
Jack Dunsworth Castens.
Riley James Lubick.
William Lee Lovett.
Robert Nicholas Marzicola.
Christian Thomas Malinek.
Riley Elmay Price.
Gabrielle Elise Oliveira.
Cadet Squadron 14. Muhammado Abdullahi Ba.
Tucker Jet Terlizzi.
Cameron Michael Breyer.
Billy Ruth Bodis.
Freedom Love Rogier Cody.
Jack Martin Calhoun.
Kenny Soap de la Cruz.
Chalfont Jacob Conley III.
William Harrison Fricky.
Jessica Marie Fisher.
Lois Howley Kletchka.
Josiah Daniel Gill.
Andrea Rachel Lee.
Jackson Timothy Kohal.
Jakob Daniel Rickel.
Goon Hyung Park.
Matthew John Rubino.
Margaret Ann Reidelhuber.
Isaiah David Seals.
Chad Michael Shook.
Jasmine Wu.
Ronald Anderson Smith.
Stay on target.
Cadet Squadron 15. Osaro Paul Ihe.
Kendon Marquise Alexander.
Griffin Michael Anderson.
Spencer Christopher Caceres.
Grace Madison Castle.
Roderick Wilton Chandler III.
Andrew David Cormier.
Kevin James Duong.
Troy Michael Irwin.
Finian McCartney Gowan.
London Olivia Holmes.
Greta Ann Lambert.
Heath Isaac McDonald.
Serena Louise Miller.
Joseph Earl Peacock.
Allison Lee Peterson.
Samuel Powell Ridgway.
Jared Matthew Rosnos.
Emily Ann Rule.
Benjamin James Skeets.
Stephen Paul Shepard.
Mark Ryan Ben Gelder.
Cadet Squadron 16, Angelina May Abden.
Max Joshua Allen.
Andrew James Ambruster.
Jason Thomas Arnold.
Darcy Ann Bushi.
Joseph Jamin Choi.
Ryan Christopher Folkert.
Bryce Robert Fauché.
Brooks Richard Gable.
Joseph Andres Gomez.
Ethan Sean Hemingway.
William John Hess.
Lauren Michelle Hurley.
Sophia Rose Leonard.
Colin Joseph McCarty.
Lake Thomas Richardson Mills.
Caitlin Catlin Wynn.
Reese Allen Sarton.
Hannah Rose Smith.
Austin Richard Schwartz.
Cadet Squadron 17, Tobias Arnold.
Jake Arthur Ballway.
Lydia Danielle Sella.
Andrew David Fisher.
Aiden August Forsey Smerick.
George Matthew Gasparovich IV.
Charles William Graber.
Caitlin Joe Grimm.
Hallie Lene Hamilton.
Kyle Benjamin Hume.
Trevor D. Cower.
Brianna Alicia Markland.
Mary Roizen McCafferty.
Mohammad Kyrell Mohammad Kyrie.
Aaliyah Nicole Perkins.
Cade Jalen Ringer.
Gary Spencer Severance.
Carissa Nicole Sigler.
Jeffrey Chewen Steniford.
Alexander Grayson Stepney.
Trevon Donovan Stevens Long.
Taylor Ashley Sturdivant.
Thomas William Young.
Cadet Squadron 18. Dananga Kaushal Agala Katua.
Joseph Talbot Cox.
Gabriel William Grimm.
John Thomas Hallis.
Cato Darren Ham.
Emmeline Cecil Hatch.
Christopher Hans Herman Jr.
Gabriella Maria Mecha.
Jason Alexander Menninger.
Margot Catherine Nicholson.
Jerica Celeste Ortiz Caban.
Charles William Phillips.
Ethan Thomas Pyle.
Credarius Antron Terrell.
John George Cerulis.
Nicholas Baltazar Tumeneg.
Bryce Clement Wykrikis.
Leilani Monet Zander.
Cadet Squadron 19. Colin Michael Baumgartner.
Charlotte Minha Chu.
Andre Octavian Kojokaru.
Reagan Suzanne Coy.
Nicholas Hayden Crane.
Cody Scott Gross.
Anthony Kyle Hall.
Luke Huang.
Benjamin Paul Jansen.
Elijah Jason Cron.
Austin James McAvoy.
Cameron Rose Miller.
Benjamin Allen Morfitt.
Addison Savina Orris.
Christian Maxwell Perales.
Aiden Murphy Plate.
Caleb Benjamin Rexroad.
Preston James Riley.
Miley Furin Stoltz.
Ashlyn Elizabeth Sweet.
Luke Hollingsworth Walters.
Andrew Joseph Wenzel.
William Jake Whitlock.
Trayvon Jorge Williams.
Joss Saichi Yago.
Cadet Squadron 20. Eusebio Joseph Asia III.
Marco Riggins Bell.
James Nicholas Buckheit.
Rhett Thomas Coleman.
Michaela Marie Detto.
Desmond Henry Delforge.
Hunter Melvin Haynes.
Nicholas Thomas Hine.
Julian Omar Jackson.
Urgin Alexander Kirsten.
Grace Claire Meesing.
Thomas James Nagel III.
Benjamin Patrick Nash III.
Joseph Mahiai Palinapa.
Manuel DeSoldi Salas.
Annika Elaine Sather.
Spencer McLean Stevenson.
Jeremy Michael Sheponkevich.
Isabella Jane Shore.
Samantha Lau Sumyi Wineland.
Luke Allen Wolf.
Olivia Hope Zayas. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, joining the Chief of Space Operations on stage, to your left, the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Gavin Marks. To your right, the Dean of the Faculty, Brigadier General Linnell Latendra.
Cadet Squadron 21, Courtney Joe Ambrose.
Payne Stephen Barksdale.
Jordan Paul Barrera.
Aaliyah Rain Bourne.
Christopher Harold Marcel Boyd Jr.
Matthew Wade Burke.
Catherine Joy Dunleavy.
Christopher Matthews Gunn.
Peter Anthony Hoskins.
Hannah Grace Johnson.
Kyle Cameron La.
Jackson Asher Long.
Connor James Mannion.
Robert Lawrence Imbro.
Jonathan Daniel McGrath.
Lucas J. Mormon.
Zachary Mark Peters.
Carter Maxwell Schmidt.
John Paul Stolley.
Silas Miguel Stritch.
Henry Wallace Taylor.
Caleb Gary Tompkins.
Kidiana Lynn Walker.
Cadet Squadron 22, Anastasia Anna Barnett.
Joshua Manuel Camarillo.
Bryn Nicole Crownover.
Christopher Elliott Dollinson.
Mitchell James Digby.
Aubrey Michelle Edwards.
Jensen Ryan Garcia.
Dalton Ryan Gillard.
Jacob Merten Guilfoyle.
Nathaniel Charles Hoffman.
Cameron Glenn Kale.
Eleanor Sophia Catman.
Alexander Michael Nick.
Luke Christopher Lepetska.
Andrew Robert Liu.
Jeffrey Douglas Mills.
Madeline Ann Pfeiffer.
Kanan Joseph Ray.
Austin Thomas Smith.
Colby Antonio Villa.
Grace May Wilson.
Italo Navarro Zumeta Gonzalez.
Cadet Squadron 23, Aleu Belo Roa.
David Bunea Brown.
Joshua Carlin Koya.
Joseph James Darcy.
Emanuela Desir.
Aiden Christopher Drake.
Samuel Norman Ellenson.
Andrew James Fedora.
Katie Elizabeth Felix.
Avalon Faith Gonzalez.
Hunter Don Kirby.
Robert James Kraft.
Emmanuel Matthew.
Kendall Anthony Newsom.
Morgan Lee Choir.
Reese Patrick Smith.
Colton Sawyer Staub.
Ty Willis Stromberg.
William Bryce Wallace.
Cadet Squadron 24, Nicholas Porter Benson.
Jesse Ann Bolt.
Garrett Nathaniel Burton.
Cole Andrew Castillo.
Time Britt Collins.
Christopher John Cuzo.
Gary Justin Dela Cruz.
Micah Carl Dirk.
Savannah Sarah Ellis.
Kennedy Jensen Fish.
Felicity Marcella Fatante.
Gunnar Blair Gott.
Michaela Ann Kowalski.
Grady James Kriskovich.
Matthew Aaron Kunselman.
Sage Michael Law.
Murphy Raylan Riggs.
Genevieve Trust Sabado.
Ethan Garrett Suman.
Cadet Squadron 25, Grace Sinead Bradley.
Dexter James Cathy.
Christopher James Ehrenberger.
Jack Michael Ganos.
Darian Nicole Garcia.
Isabella Denise Gelly.
Will Joseph Grasser.
Daniel David Hooper.
Kalia Yvette Hudson.
Casey Lynn Landrum.
Ryan Timothy McCauley.
David Jonathan Petzold.
Matthew Gary Romines.
Ashton John Rubio.
Mackenzie Amanda Russ.
Elijah DeCarlo Sanders.
Nicholas Michael Scheller.
Dylan Jerry Simons.
Renee Michelle Skaggs.
Chapman Perry Wolf.
Cadet Squadron 26, Lauren Ruth Arnold.
Brian Robert Blosser.
Isaac William Kuhan.
Cale Henry Curtis.
Adam Adam James Cusolito.
Jackson David Darlington.
Matthew Sullivan Fitzgerald.
Nicholas Ryan Garver.
Manuel Mauricio Gonzalez.
Sherry Lauren Gramlich.
Abigail Marie Jones.
Carlton George Leiden.
Margaret Evelyn Martin.
Michael Austin McInich.
Jadora Cherie McClendon.
Jasmine Maya Oki.
Giovanni Burkhart Quintanizza.
Katarina Rose Schultz.
Caleb Yejun Shin.
Zechariah Fami Slale.
Cadet Squadron 27. Jackson Nietenhofer Basil.
Benjamin Andrew Brandt.
Aaron Lee Clothier.
Corinne Danielle Hansen.
Braden Lawrence Helpling.
Giovanni Santiago Huete.
Caleb Christopher Cavanaugh.
Cody Harold Lambert.
Jacqueline Shitong Leo.
Jake Sylvester Merrick.
Hunter Taylor Marquez.
Kieran McKenna McCauley.
Brian Perez Moore Jr.
Matthew Gunnar Moorhead.
Quentin Antonio Pinheiro.
Claire Ruby Porter.
Joseph Connor Reed.
Sarah Christine Shevlin.
Remington Otis Stiles.
Gabe Charles Swanser.
Sonia Malika Tagong.
Cadet Squadron 28. Simon Elliott Bollinger.
Jason Andrew Booker.
Abigail Joe Kopp.
Brandon Carl Engel.
Gabriel John Forthofer.
Lance Gregory Garcia.
Madigan James Hiltz.
Austin An Hwang.
Cole Brinsma Palmer.
Shelby Mackenzie Hall.
Benjamin Paul Riley.
Yura Mary Saw.
Michael Taylor Shacklick.
Sophia Ann Stewart.
Jareth Tassis.
Luke Paul Baden.
Alec Christopher Viduya.
Bevan Roy Watson.
Cadet Squadron 29. Jared Achilles Barrett.
Samuel Hogan Dutt.
Matthew John Heinzer.
Benijah Markale Hicks.
Eric James Krauth.
Carson Durham Lewis.
Zeb Samuel Mendel.
Emily Grace Mills.
Ryan Patrick Mullen.
Gage Kenneth Musser.
Ryan Michael Pattison.
Emily Beth Pavick.
James Daniel Perez.
Joseph Byron Sabo.
Sandra Isabel Sanchez.
Asha Rob Swan.
Catherine Isabel Tharp.
Julian Marcellus Williams.
Brian Daniel Woofenden.
Paul William Yeoman.
Jacob June Yee.
Cadet Squadron 30. Nakai Caton Alexander.
Jamari Daquan Bellamy.
John William Brown.
Dominic John Chechia.
Andrea Nohalani Chun.
Karis Mackenzie Desautel.
John Andrew Gordon Jr.
Preston David Havenoy.
Laura Susan Howie.
Harrison Gage Jetter.
Sohan Samir Kanvalkar.
Michael Herschel Pass.
Weston Todd Peen.
Kurt Elwood Reinhardt.
Tanner Lee Sanchez.
Ethan Douglas Schlunt.
Sawyer Aiden Stone.
Jacob Gregory Trujillo.
Abby Lynn Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, joining the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Troy Mink, on stage. To your left, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General David Alvin. To your right, the Chief of Space Operations, General B. Chance Saltzman.
Cadet Squadron 31, Samuel Oluwapalumi Akolo.
Madison Elizabeth Arflack.
Carson Monroe Bay.
Nathaniel Jackson Bone.
Antoine DeRay Brown, Jr.
Damon Lloyd Campbell.
Alexandra Danielle Clark.
Brian Cordell Cusick.
Mason Cole Daly.
Julia Christine Desermo.
Taylor Barbara Dunn.
Reed Douglas Eddington.
Allison Nicole Jones.
Peyton Robert Ketter.
Camden Matthew Larson.
Michael Hujun Lee.
Jacob Elijah Tafoya.
Micah Keith Trusty.
Carter James Van Hammond.
Sydney Marie Weber.
Cameron James Woodard.
Cadet Squadron 32. Trinity Renee Benware.
Justin Fudolig Busquet.
Luis Eduardo Cardona.
Blake Harmon Cheater.
Lino Dean DeRose.
Elise Danielle Eichhorn.
Maximilian Thomas Flash.
Matthew Stephen Kaplan.
Stella Marie Kursabet.
Jason Trin Lee.
Jacob Alexander Martin.
Gavin Rourke Plumhoff.
Benjamin Ian Reeder.
Jason David Renzi.
Joshua James Savage.
George David Vizcaino.
Eden Ray Winga.
Cadet Squadron 33. Mira Emmanuel Acapo Mancho.
Angel Renee Borders.
Valerie Mia Cruz.
Andrew Daniel DeCarlo.
Adam Robert Depew.
Aaron Chester Akins.
Edie Yvonne Ferguson.
Alexander Everett Foreman.
Tyler Logan Holcomb.
Kaylee Grace Jones.
Alexander Charles Kenyon.
Madigan Winston Kinsey.
Veritatis Sianjin Kong.
Elizabeth Ashley Rainwater.
Scott Thomas Rocket.
Brandon Anthony Seaborn.
Hunter Austin Smith.
Isaac Shane Wolford.
Cadet Squadron 34. Michael Jared Bender.
Sophia Boone Bulware.
Thomas Joseph Calabrese.
Theodore Cargila.
Santos Colon Jr.
Isaac Francis Dennis.
Quinn William Flockman.
Agatha Maria Flinick Sabino.
Lisa Renee Fredette.
John Scott Kelso.
Jacob Scott Knapp.
Laquan Lynn.
Zachary Philip Myers.
Christopher Park.
Taylor Elise Rio.
Jalen Terrell Rivers.
Dane Charles Robertson.
Ty Dylan Ryan.
Nanealani Akemi Satterfield.
Wesley Harrison Smith.
Brandon Armand Troncoso.
Andrew Michael Wheatley.
Cadet Squadron 35. Luke O'Brien Connolly.
Samuel Matthew Eddy.
Donald Ty Esclavan.
Ian Spencer Garrett.
Andrea Marie Gilliland.
Ashley Brooke Hay.
Wolfgang Gustav Hoffman.
Roderick Davis Howe.
Kendra Rachel Joseph.
Matthew Emery Corta.
Briley Aaron Larson.
Jesse Kyle Likens.
Tristan Salcedo Lingao Lingao.
Ayla Mae McKean.
Nathaniel Cornell Popa.
Tegan Lee Wren.
Rachel Neoma Rowan.
Francesca Eve Schaefer.
Samuel Theodore Schul.
Alexander James Wood.
Cadet Squadron 36. Landon Sayer Atkins.
Michelle Christine Arellano Cabanse.
Kate Cardinal.
Anthony Michael DiBerardino.
Isaac Daniel Dietz.
Ryan Mitchell Garrison.
Charles Samuel Gertz.
Caroline Elizabeth Geiler.
Santiago Gutierrez.
Madeline Noel Kinsey.
Ella Jane Martin.
Samuel Vincent McNulty.
Kian McGuire Nolan.
Tree Bawono Nugroho.
Zi Yi Feng.
Peter James Rickard.
Arthur Jackson Runagi.
Anna Lynn Schofield.
Chase Lee Spencer.
William Nolan Surratt.
Cadet Squadron 37. Brandon Michael Anderson.
Andrea Grace Clutter.
Matthew Alexander Devine.
William Sebastian Francis.
Samuel Doyle G.
Jacob Andrew Haraski.
Miles Beeler Kirk.
Kevin Daniel Lacouture Jr.
Liam Perusi Marcus.
Colette Elise McClanahan.
Ashley Catrin McCoy.
Anya Marie Nakata.
Chase Joseph Powers.
Thomas Andrew Rajuko.
Valerie Eve Slackman.
Cooper Michael Stroka.
Angad Singh Takar.
Cody James Ward.
Cadet Squadron 38. Emily Deborah Beal.
Hannah Youngju Choi.
Tyler James Generazzo.
Eleni Christine Hawley.
Daniel Sugu Hong.
Avery Bryn Kreischer.
Luke Brian Kuklis.
Jonathan Robert Leal.
Vincent Ryan Mata.
Ethan Drescher Mayo.
Ruth Chandler Middleton.
Brewster David Mott.
Jeffrey Scott Malarkey.
Jacob Calavia Palinapa.
Zane Dominic Peacher.
Matthew Bailey Sanders.
Catherine Joanna Smith.
Madeline Ann Strang.
Alexander Miles Sturmthal.
Andrew Thomas Taller.
Eric Anthony Upton.
Carell Sierre Washington.
Cadet Squadron 39. Salim Jaime Anawasre.
Court Kelly Bollinger.
Logan Michael Breathauer.
Hannah Christensen.
Stella Maeve Husan.
Callan Tobias Eastman.
Isaac James Hine.
Margot Kelly Heisler.
Aiden Alexander Hoddle.
Quinn Alexander Johnson.
Shreyas Kalamath.
Dylan Edward Murray.
Joshua Brian Nyberg.
Carter Lamar Potts.
Aaron Joseph Reyes.
Aiden Michael Schwab.
Colby Nelson Tell.
Charisse Guzman Tigrado.
Darian Elise Tompkins.
Almendra Martinez Vega.
Nathan Namwook Yoon.
Caleb Ashton Young.
Cadet Squadron 40. Adrian Emilio Alvarado.
Asa Christian Arnold.
Tristan William Bentley.
Emma Mackay Clark.
Jackson Eric Crump.
Jacob Michael Hoos.
Kathleen O'Brien Hughes.
John Young Jin Kim.
Nicholas Manning Langenberg.
Joseph Anton Nizick.
Yuri William Penneth.
Joshua Levi Pym.
Jonathan Beltran Sebastian.
Gabrielle Ann Vazana.
Jean Yu.
Wing, Tench Hut. Secretary Mink, thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Brigadier General Gavin P. Marks, Commandant of Cadets, administers the oath of office for the United States Air Force and Space Force.
Graduates of the Colonel William Francis Psycho Andrews class of 2025. Will you please raise your right hand and, after I read the oath of office, signify your acceptance by saying, "I do." Do each of you, having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force or Space Force, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which you are about to enter. So help you God. I do. Ladies and gentlemen, the Air Force song and Space Force song. Class of 2025,